Recorded on camera, screwing up my ceiling. It's...
Hi, I'm Kat with Winged Saber Historical Fencing.
Yay!
I'm very coordinated.
Yay! It only made a little bit, so...
It'll be fine.
My landlord will ding me for that a year from now. Hi, it's Russ, also from Winged Saber Historical Fencing. So today we're going to continue with something that the Patreon supporters got first, because that's their right. Thank you, Patreon supporters, we love you. You keep us from chasing the algorithm so we don't have to become yet another sword tuber trademark. And that is things you can do in your solo drilling. So I'm going to stand over here for greater visibility. Can you go over there and throw a cut one at me? Now, remember, ceilings, as Kat just amply demonstrated, so we're going to be in slightly compressed space and making slightly tighter cuts than normal. When you're practicing solo, don't be afraid to make shoulder cuts. Shoulder cuts combined with body movement can be just as fast and tight as the little wrist cuts, unless you're doing Renaissance style cutting, which is a very different affair. We'll cover that some other time. Also, because it's partly speculative. So, Kat cuts one.
One.
Bing. Yay! Now I can get a hand sandwich.
Yay.
All right, so what happened with false edge under the wrist? Let's break it down into various parts. She cuts one.
No.
I stepped back to the appropriate distance while moving my hand to set up the block. Remember mystic knowledge of swords? Shield, revenge, served cold. So she cuts one.
One.
I've created a moulinet focusing on the hand. Now, I've also turned so that I'm staying in alignment. I'm going to turn again while beginning the movement for cut four. And I could just smack the back of her hand from here, but that's not what we do, because it gives her the opportunity to go, oh, I have been expelled. I'm going to do a giant cutover and do ugly things to you. Instead, we're going to use the fact that there's all this reach here, bleh, and hop backwards and pull her hand off.
Sport.
Now, if you go to a tournament, there are many tournaments where this technique is awesome and you should do it, and you're not going to get any points for it whatsoever, and you may go down in pools because all your cool, sexy false edge techniques aren't recognized. There are three reasons for this. One's bullshit, two are absolute legitimate. Okay, let's cover the bullshit one. That's not a martial cut. Trust and believe, go back and look at the other false edge video where I damn near pull Kat off her feet with the pressure of the false edge under her wrist. These are a little thinner, I'm not going to do that with these. There is enough pressure that a sharp would absolutely tear that hand off, and we have records of duels where that happens. In particular, a guy who didn't want to maim someone else. He got like 3 lessons before going to a duel and spent the rest of his life chagrined that he had actually maimed somebody. Not all duels are for serious purposes. So that's the bullshit reason. The other 2 reasons you're going to have to encounter are, one, cut one.
One.
They've never seen this before and have no idea what just happened. Totally legit. Everyone is good at judging the things they're accustomed to seeing. Confirmation bias is an absolute thing in judging, and there's nothing we can do about it because confirmation bias is also how we avoid getting eaten by tigers. Yes, it's illogical. Yes, it's irrational. But many of our neurotic behaviors are, in point of fact, adaptive, because it's better to over-adapt to a likely scenario than to under-adapt and get eaten. Third scenario, she cuts one.
One.
Bing, I do this, and she's wearing giant clamshell gauntlets because she's mostly a longsworder who's decided to come play saber. And when I do this, she literally has no idea she's been cut, because her safety gear is a literal gauntlet. And she simply cannot feel that edge going across the gauntlet. The judge didn't see it, and she's not being what the SCA guys would call a rhino, that is thick hide, they didn't feel anything. She literally didn't feel it because HEMA is out of frickin' control and nobody can spar safely unless they're wearing actual armor. And some techniques they just can't feel. Same thing with cutting the hands. It's a tournament loser nowadays because nobody can frickin' feel it through the big heavy gauntlets. Whereas if you're wearing something thick and padded, you can feel that pressure and go, oh yeah, my cut would never have landed because they just took half my hand off. So you're gonna practice this anyway, and you're gonna do it in tournament anyway, because it's awesome. Just understand, you may go down in pools in a given tournament, but you know you landed the hit, it's cool, it's fine. Here's how you practice it. I'm gonna get a 3/4 view for you guys. I am turning, and preferably turning and stepping backwards slightly, so I'm parrying one. Notice I'm in alignment. This is actually an over parry, but I'm doing it so you can clearly see the body turn. Then, without throwing my arm further out of alignment, as my body turns, notice my hand, my arm isn't going anywhere. I'm maintaining the bind. Here's my cut 4. Now, I need a connecting movement before I can go back to parry 1. That connecting movement, the moulinet, is where the false edge techniques come from. All false edge techniques, including the Meisterhau, are nothing but the application of moulinet mechanics, cardforgatás in Hungarian, to the fact that you have a sharpened false edge. And they're primordial to Hungary. We have raised yeomen since before we have an actual kingdom of Hungary. Back when the Hungarians and the Bulgars and the Byzantines are going back and forth deciding who's going to be the actual power and who's going to use who. And the Pechenegs were also, it gets complicated anyway. So, parry, cut without throwing the arm away. My waist is providing the motion. I'm not wearing the skin tight thing just so everybody can see how old and fat I am. I can own it, it's legit. You can always own your own shit, right? I'm doing it so you guys can see my waist turning. I'm staying in the bind. She cuts 1.
1.
I'm still right there. And oh look, an expulsion. And she used to be an adventurer until she took a saber to the knee.
Okay.
Okay? So, parry 1, cut 4. My connecting movement that gives me the false edge cut is right there as I go back to parry 1. Cut 4, parry 1. Cut 4, parry 1. I have a low ceiling. My hand should be up here when I practice that parry 4, because if someone's cutting at my head, my strong has got to be at least at eye height to make that parry. So when you practice solo, you should be looking right over the top of your guard when you practice that block. Now, many times you can get away with it down here, but what mostly happens if you parry with your hand too low, cut 1 gently, because I'm gonna fuck up.
1.
Oh crap, a shitty middle bind. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. She was really nice. Even at this speed, vouch true or false, you could feel my block starting to collapse. Okay? So, you wanna take your saber and go bully longsworders? You can. I do it, it's fun. They like playing alternate weapons. Be nice to your sword friends, give them fun game. But you've got to get that weak on the strong. And you're not gonna do it if you practice your blocks down here being lazy. Now, this is a completely different methodology. Throw that away. You want this, a cut 4 that comes out of your waist, where the cut finishes and you stop moving, because that's how you develop control. Connecting movement. The connecting movement is as important as every other movement, and eventually becomes 2 movements. A sweep this way and a sweep this way. When you practice solo, your hand will make a little oval in the air. Never do this. Scoopy down, blocky up. If you do scoopy down, blocky up, you're getting stabinated. Okay? So the same thing applies on the other side. Let's be tricky. Cat cuts 1.
1.
Oh, a parry of 2. Who could have done that? A cut 3. A false edge cut under the wrist. Now, she was, in point of fact, uber compliant. Consider the scenario. The body turn. She cuts 2.
2.
I'm in position. I cut, uh-oh. That's right, I can't lose the alignment. I stay in alignment and I cut under and my body turns. And then I come underneath. Oh, I just got the guard, how sad for me. Nothing bad can happen to her from here. I've still got all kinds of potential if she stays in the bind. What's mostly going to happen is I'm going to bounce off her guard and she's going to attack me. So she attacks me. The saber is going to come close to me, and here we are. And from here, I'm out of alignment turning to. I should be here. Bonk. As you continue to set those moulinets. Now, here's the deep secret sauce. I've told this to my students 10,000 times, and once per year, one of my students will come up to me and say this back to me verbatim. Kat's an example, she can vouch. As she begins to make the words that are abstract a living understanding inside her nervous system. As soon as I'm done cutting and I need to defend myself, I just pick a moulinet. So watch what happens here. She's going to cut one. Boom, I attack. She goes somewhere else. Oh, look, a different moulinet. I started the moulinet for cut 3. Starting a moulinet for cut 3 gave me parry 2. She goes to attack somewhere. Oh, look, my moulinet gave me cut 1, or it could have given me this motion again. So your moulinets are how you distinguish the attack and the defense. So if I'm coming at the camera and I do, here's my cut, I can choose to moulinet this way and begin my cut 4, like when you're practicing your big cavalry style cuts. Or I can cut, excuse me, that was a 3. I can choose to moulinet this way and then come back with a 5. You've got options. You can go from any cut to any other cut, including the same cut, by changing your moulinet. And by keeping that hand in alignment, you maintain a geometry where it's very difficult for people to work around your guard. If you are older, here's how you make that work for you especially. Cat's going to be in guard. Cat's going to make an attack. I use the beginning of, oh, what's this parry called? That's an opposition parry. As soon as I saw she was going to that side, she went for the parry. Excuse me, I went for the parry. So now she's attacking into a preset guard. Can I moulinet from here? Yes, I can. And if I'm stiffer, that's fine. I can just moulinet and pick things up right there. So by using your opposition parry and getting really strict about seeing, hey, an attack's beginning, I'm beginning to cover that line. Not far enough that they nope out, but I'm beginning to get that cover. If you have less in the way of mobility, she attacks. Any.
Just do one again.
She went to that side, here I am. Well, here's my opposition parry. She has a choice. She can go into that, which she likely will. Oh, I return to guard, done. She attacks 2. Oh, she's on that side, opposition parry. Oh, maybe I got the guard, maybe I didn't. If she's going to be aggressive and plow in, as many people do, yeah, I'm not going to give you a bladderectomy, I promise. But you see the point there, and so will she, and so will the judge, because your saber is going to be bending on their lower stomach. Side note, boxing guards are your friends. This part of your stomach is just as painful to receive a body weight thrust as the groin is. All right, so anything to add to this? If we were chasing the algorithm, we'd break this into probably about 3 posts so that it wouldn't be one big long post and there would be that steady stream of stuff. We're gonna leave this here right now, and then I'm told Kat's going to torment me with questions.
They're good questions. You'll enjoy them.
All right, so have fun, go do the thing. Those of you who this spring have started up on study groups, get absolute religion about incorporating this into your solo cutting practice. You will never escape your basic cutting practice. I can watch a student and tell whether they've done their cutting practice the same way a musician knows if their musical partner has been working their scales or not. All right, have fun. We've got more videos and content coming, so if you liked what you saw and it was useful for you, please stab the like button, /subscribe, and punch the little bell icon so that you're notified immediately when new content comes available. Thanks, and go do the thing.